whole days. Wow. How is everybody doing? How was your week? Like, how is your day going just today? Like we made it, no matter what we went through, no matter the cards we were dealt, like we're still standing tall. And I think that that says something, that speaks volumes to just our resilience, just our willpower and our diligence. So, I'll be the first to always tell you that it is okay not to be okay. You don't have to put on a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde face, or you don't have to pretend like all is well and it's really not. It's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to stay in that space though. So, you know, I commend you all for getting through the week, for whatever challenges and tests may have came your way. Cause baby, let me tell you, woo! I don't even know if there's another word outside of test. But when I tell you whatever it is, oh we baby. Oh, if I had a half of a penny for everything this week, I'd be at a good 5 grand. And I said a half of a penny. So it's been a lot been thrown at me, and I just gotta keep ducking and dodging, ducking and dodging. But nonetheless, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending time with me. Who? Shavonna. Who else would you want to spend your time with today on a Saturday but me? Right? Now, some may say that that is selfish, and some may say I am just so full of myself. And I am, especially when I'm giving out great information, especially when I wish this information was available to me coming up in school, or it was just talked about more and it's not being talked about enough. So, absolutely, when I'm learning, I love to be in the presence. So, I don't care if you're talking about goldfish and dinosaurs. If it catches my interest, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to learn it, because I just think that that's something neat to know about. So, as you know, I like to kick off the show with some fun facts. Woo! Y'all know I just be thinking about a lot of stuff, right? And so I'm not what you call a daily driver. So I don't drive. I drive if I absolutely positively have to, and it has to like be a life or death situation for me to drive. So, I just think, but however, I'm the passenger that has the road rage, and I'll reach over and blow your horn. That's just me. Don't worry about it. No judging, right? But anyway, I've always wanted to know about expressways and highways. Like, who thought about this? How was it invented? What was behind the scenes that we don't know? And so today's facts are going to be about expressways, highways. Woo! And I found this to be very, very interesting. So let's kick it off. Dwight D. Eisenhower is credited to champion the creation of the U.S. interstate highway system. Highway system. Yes, Dwight E. Eisenhower. So I guess that's where the Eisenhower came from. I always wanted to know that. And I never wanted to put two and two together, but I never ever sat down and did the research either until recently. But anyway, a vision inspired by his personal experiences while dealing with grueling traffic delays. Like he said, grueling. So that's bad. That's really bad. In 1919, as a young Army officer, he took 62 days to drive across the country on poor roads. So that's 2 months he was driving. 2 whole months he was driving because he got tired of grueling traffic delays. And this was back in 1919. So later, as we all know, Dwight D. Eisenhower, he became our president. and he was frustrated by the traffic in the DC jams. But he was impressed by the German Autobahn during World War II. So let me tell you how clever he was, right? The official name of the act that launched the system was in 1956. Now, I would have thought this came way back in the 1800s. Absolutely not. We talking about the 1900s, right? So in 1956, that was the national system of the interstate and defense highways. It was designed to allow for a quick movement of military equipment and the evacuation of cities in case a nuclear attack came during the Cold War. So this is why these highways were implemented. Basically, to bring across military equipment. If you have to evacuate, there's no traffic, there's no stop signs, there's nothing, right? So the project was originally estimated to take 12 years, and the cost was going to be $25 billion for fiscal years 1957 through 1969. So to construct a 41,000 mile network. Now that's a lot of miles, 41,000. And it's going to take 12 years to construct a highway to hold all this traffic, all this equipment that's coming through with no delays. These people were good in math, had to be good in math, had to be good in analytics, had to be good in statistics. And when I tell you they went through risk management and research and development, they did it. Like, my hat is off to them. So actually, this 12-year project, it took 35 years to complete the bulk of the network with the final cost of $114 billion. So it originally started out as $25 billion, but it went to $114 billion. Woo! Somebody didn't do budgeting and somebody didn't do forecasting, but that's a whole nother topic. The fact that it's here is what's amazing to me. Now, the construction of the original system was proclaimed completed in 1992. Now, here's the good thing about this, right? The numbering system is highly organized. East-west routes are even numbers, increasing from south to north, which will be I-10, I-90, right? While north-south routes are odd numbers, increasing west to east would be I-5 to I-95. Now, if you drive, you know what all of that means. So I went and looked it up. I still don't know what it means because I don't drive. I know the interstate. I know the black and white signs. I know the routes. Like, yeah, but this east and west and go this way. No, tell me landmarks. I'm a landmark person. You tell me, look, Shavonna, I need you to drive straight. When you get to that McDonald's, you're going to make a left. You're going to go 4 blocks. It's going to be a purple house on the left-hand side. You make that left-hand turn and you come down 2 stops. Don't tell me go straight, go east, then turn north, then go south. I won't get there. Nope, don't do that to me. So this was highly equipped and organized, apparently. So while Eisenhower provided political will several times, it was a bunch of them, not a bunch, but a nice number of them were considered the fathers of the system due to their administrative and legislative roles. So, of course, we got Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th United States president. He signed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, championed by the system based on military experience and seeing the German Autobahn. Then we have our other father, Thomas H. McDonald, chief of the Bureau of Public Roads. He directed the National policy for 34 years from 1919 to 1953. He proposed a program that became model for the modern interstate system. Wow. So, I mean, I could just imagine what they were going through if they were driving. Like, they had to come together in complaints about everything to have this system up and running as it's running. Then we have Albert Gahn Sr. He is the U.S. Democratic Party in Tennessee. He's the senator, he authorized the Senate version of the 1956 Act, introduced features like cloverleaf exits, and entrances. Then we have Hale Boggs. He was the United States Representative, Domestic Party for Louisiana. And he sponsored the House measurement that created the Highway Trust Fund, establishing the funding for mechanisms for gas and tire taxes. That is phenomenal. Like, just the input, the time that they had to think to do that. Like, man, I have a new level of respect for highways and expressways. Even though I am the passenger that has the road rage, I will start fussing before the driver fuss, and then get mad at the driver and be like, let me fuss. And I'm not even the one driving. But okay. I'm going to jump into my announcements. Yes. So, unfortunately, we just started January 26th with filing income tax returns. And yes, there are amendments already for tax year 2025. However, those amendments will not start being accepted until March 11th, which is next Wednesday, unless that date changed. When I checked it this morning, it was March 11th. So if you're trying to do an amended return for tax year 2025, you need to wait until the 11th. If you're trying to amend prior tax years, you can amend up to 3 years. If you're doing tax year 2022, that has to be in by April 15th. Now, there's a lot of rejections also coming in when you're filing your tax returns electronically. Those rejections are for identity protection PIN numbers. You may not have received one in the past, but 9 times out of 10, you may be receiving one now. There is no letter that comes out that says you're going to have one. That's why it's important to have that IRS ID Me account. If you have that account, you're going to log in, you're going to go to letters, and you're going to see that identity protection PIN number there if you have it. If you don't have it, there's no need to fret about it. Also, if you received and participated in healthcare.gov, Obamacare, you're going to receive a 1095A. The federal government is aware of that. However, you still need to report that on your return. Those are the highest number of rejections that I'm seeing thus far, is not having that identity protection PIN number and not having that insurance document. Is very, very, very important. Also, please verify all your sources of income. It's important to report all your sources of income, because if you don't, you will be receiving a correspondence letter. And that letter is either going to say that they made the adjustments or more information is needed. You don't want to put a hold up on anything that you have going on, especially with everything that's going on in that big sector. So we want to try to be mindful of that, okay? Those are my announcements. I want to take a break right here and just stop and thank all my guests for tuning in. That's kicking it with me. Hey, Mr. G. Hey! I love Mr. G. We go to Bible class together. He took my $2 for my potato chips, though. And that's just a joke between me and him. So you got to get it. In order for you to get it, come to Bible class on Tuesdays. My brother is on here. What up, Big V? Woo-hoo! Love you, baby. And to anybody else that's tuning in and I did not call your name, please forgive me. Thank you for tuning in and joining in. I so appreciate you. I love you dearly. I love you so much. Thank you for spending that time with me. So here's another favorite part of the show that I like. I like doing my birthday wishes. So to anyone celebrating a birthday in this month of March, please celebrate with decency and order, please. If you are having birthday cake, I will gladly take a slice of birthday cake because why? I like cake. Yes. So I have some special birthdays I want to give out. Pendleton Quick Tax, my girl Kamaria. Hey, friend. Her birthday's coming up March 13th. I know she's going to celebrate to the fullest. One of my good best friends, and I call her Honeybee. Her birthday is coming up on the 19th. My son is coming up. He's all the way in Jamaica, yes, but he's celebrating his birthday on March 21st. My best friend, and I say best friend a lot, and literally a lot of people will say you don't really got that many. I literally truly have 7 best friends, literally, and all of them have been, man, better than better. I don't even think best is a good word to talk about the love that we have for one another. But her birthday is on March 22nd. And last but certainly not least, OMG, my cakes baby Abby, my niece, my baby. Oh, I love her, but we like oil and water, but I still love my baby. March 28th, and I know she gonna have some cake. Even if she don't like cake, she gonna have some because her auntie like cake, because she gonna ride with me like that. Boom. So yes, happy birthday to everybody that's celebrating. Thank you. And just want to give you some updates talking about the IRS. Typically, wage and income transcripts are available middle May, early June. However, they have started releasing those IRS transcripts. So if you have not received your W-2, if you have not received your 1099, you can log on to your IRS ID Me account and you can get those transcripts. That's very important. Also, can you please like, love, share, and comment on the information? I promise you, we talk about it all the time. We love the feedback. We love the interaction. If it's something you want us to talk about, if it's information you're wanting, man, drop it in our comments. Let us know. We all sit at the round table and we discuss everything because of the importance. If you have not subscribed to that YouTube channel, please subscribe to that YouTube channel. It is so much information on there. So much information. I promise you, it is so much. Yes. And actually, a week from Thursday, Let's Talk Finance is coming up with a 1-year anniversary. So be looking out for details coming up on that. We're doing a lot of big things on Let's Talk Finance. So let's go ahead and jump right on into the show. Welcome back to Let's Talk Finance, everybody podcast. And guess what? If you're new tuning in, welcome to the family. Yes, this is family. You're always welcome. We love family. Now, here's the thing about us loving family. Here's the thing about Let's Talk Finance. Here on Let's Talk Finance podcast, we break down your finances with clarity. We break down your finances with faith, empowerment. And we do that because we want you to understand your numbers. We want you to understand your money. We want you to understand everything on the back end. We don't want you to just look at it as just, oh, this is a basic number or this is that. No, we want you to be confident and know what it is that you're doing. We want your purposes to be aligned with what you see as a financial increase or goal. So today we're diving into from goals to gains, right? Turning your financial plans into action. Because listen, right? We can have all these magnificent plans, but if we don't put no action into it or behind it, it's just a plan. And what do you know? 5 years from now, that same plan, somebody else may have been and thought about it and it's out there. So we have to be more proactive when it comes to planning, right? So you want to be clear about it. You want to create, when you're planning, especially with your finances, you want to create wealth. You know what I'm saying? You want to be intentional about it. You want to execute these ideals because this is a financial dream. And that dream is now going to come a tangible asset, and it's going to come a nice result. Why? Because you're putting the work into it now. And so here's some questions I want to throw at the listeners, right? And I just want you to think about it and, drop your answers in the comments. I'd love to know your feedback. And, if you missed the question, don't worry. I'll come back at the end of the show and I'll release those questions to you. But the first question is, what's one financial goal you're working on right now? What's one financial goal you are working on right at this moment? Like, you have to see this through. It's a must that this is accomplished. The second question is, where do you feel like you're most stuck? Is it budgeting? Is it saving? Is it investing? I know for me, it would be investing because I'm not that big of a risk taker. Like, yeah, if I give you $5 and that $5 is lost, like, I can't get that back. Like, I'm mad. Like, yeah, that's $5. I could have had that $5. And although there's a bigger picture behind that, actually, absolutely there is. I just don't want to take that chance. Yeah, it's certain chances I take, certain ones I won't. But hey, I know it worked. I just don't want to go there. So I would say mine is investing. That next question is, what's a financial win you're proud of, no matter how small it is? And I would say for me, just to start saving. I didn't come up with a number. I didn't come up with an amount. I just want to say, look, I'm saving this because I'm tired of putting money away for a rainy day, but it looked like every time I put the money away, it started raining. So look, I'm not going to put a quota on it. This is what I have. I'm throwing it in the savings. So that's small. That's small to a lot of people that already save. But to me, that's humongous because I just threw it there and I don't think about it. I try to forget it, like out of sight, out of mind. And, I'll even hide stuff from myself, and then I'll write a note and send it to somebody and tell them, hey, if I ever forget this, this is where it's at. Let me know where it's at. I know it's a lot going to that, but hey, that's just me. So that's some questions just for you all to think about. And the reason I pose those questions is because the first thing that I want to talk about is defining your destination, setting clear financial goals. And yes, clear financial goals. What do I mean by that? So, are you aware that so many people skip the emotional whys, which is why the fuel for long-term consistency ends? And, I knew about the whys, and, time and time again, I hear people, just say, well, I'm not going to worry about that. I'll deal with that later. And it's like you're pushing it off to the back burner, and you don't want to do that. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because if you don't have a clear foundation, you don't know where you're going to end up at. And I know I've talked many times before about SMART goals, but it's so important to incorporate those SMART goals when you're talking about setting clear financial goals. Why? Because it needs to be specific, first of all. What needs to happen right now? You need to be able to measure it. Is it going to be within that time frame that you set? Is it realistic? Can you get it done? Attainable, relevant, and time bound. All of those factors matter when you're setting a goal. And here is why. Let me give you the definition that I like to give. So we have what we call emotional drivers. And emotional drivers are the deeper whys behind someone's financial decision. So it goes deeper than I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, but why? It goes way deeper beyond that because it's holding an emotion, and that emotion is stopping you from progressing on so many levels, right? So We also have what we call freedom. Now, freedom is you see money as options and independence. And to me, I would say freedom is you just spirited. You just go with the flow. Whereas me, on the other hand, that uses that emotional driver, I want to hold it close because, again, as I stated, I'm not that big of that risk taker. So what comes with that when you're dealing with freedom, you get to travel and do what you want to do. You make your decisions without permission. You leave toxic situations. You have flexibility, right? Then you have security with that. People see security as protection, as stability. And what comes with that is emergency funds, is insurance, it's retirement savings, it's predictable income. And when you're dealing with that predictable income, of course, that's where your cash flow statement is going to come in. And that's where your projections is going to come in because overall, you want to know the flow of your cash. You want to know what's coming in the business. You want to know where it's being allocated to. You want to see that. And so, yes, that balance sheet is going to show you that snapshot. That profit and loss statement is going to show you where you are from that time period. But when you go into your projections, you're seeing far out. When you're looking at your cash flow, you're going to implement that while you're doing your budgeting and your planning. So that's why that predictable income comes with that journey of setting that clear financial goal. Now, let's jump into legacy. If you have a legacy, that means you see money as an impact, which means I want to create generational wealth. I want to leave this for my family. I want to leave this for my church, for my friends. I want this to continue to grow even as I'm not here. You have those trust funds. You have those wills. You have those estates already set up. Guess what? You may be into owning property. So now you have properties, you have land. That also goes with having that freedom because now that's that security. You follow what I'm saying? Then you have family stability. It's like I don't have to wait or request a day off or do this. I can go and I can do it now because I have it. You have a certain lifestyle. That lifestyle, you see money as an experience and enjoyment. And what comes with that is fashion. What comes with fashion? Fine dining. What comes with fine dining? Comfort. What comes with comfort? Imitation and presentation. You have all of that. Why? Because you set yourself up like that. This is the lifestyle that you want to maintain. This is how you see yourself. So this would be something that someone puts on a vision board. Where do I see myself? Yes. And, a lot of times we do vision boards for a year. Yeah, that's nice. I'm not knocking that. I do vision boards for a week. I'm just trying to make it to the end of the week. Let's do that because a lot can happen in those 7 days. I can become a billionaire tomorrow. Not saying that it can't happen, but anything is possible and you can reach those limits because sky is the limit. Now, let's talk about those short-term goals versus those long-term goals. Water break. Now, when it comes to goals, you want to write down 3 goals, right? And the 3 goals that you want to write down is you want to write down the short-term goal, a mid-term goal, and a long-term goal. 3 goals, right? And you work on those goals how you see fit, which means you're putting them under those SMART goals. It's not that you can't achieve them, and it's not that you can't do them. You may do them simultaneously. And it's not saying that it can't be done, but you have to use a destination of setting your financial goals. You have to have that plan. You have to have that foundation. Now, let's talk about that. You want to identify the why between each goal. So if your goal is to get a house in the next year, Why do you want to get that house? Well, I'm tired of living with my parents. That's not a good enough reason. Why do you want to get that house? Remember, put those emotional drivers in there, and you want to go deeper and see why. And then after you want to know why, then you ask yourself other questions. What am I going to be able to afford this? If the job industry that I'm in ends, will I be able to sustain this? Will I be able to handle my lifestyle? What have I put in place? How is this going to help me when it comes to my tax situation? These are questions you want to ask yourself because you're going deeper. Now, also, you want to be clear about goals that sabotage your progress. Yes, that is a true statement. Some goals can sabotage your process. And how is that? I'm going to tell you how. If you do not know exactly what it is you're working towards, your money will drift instead of build because you don't know what you're working towards. So you're out there spending money endlessly. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to buy this. Well, I got this saved up. I'll come back to it. No, we have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. It's okay to put a penny away. As my nana used to say, Siobhan, stop trying to go buy that ice cream cone every Friday. You keep your nickel. And instead of this Friday, you wait next Friday. Now you can get a double scoop. And guess what? If you wait 3 Fridays, now you got a triple scoop. And I swear when she told that story, it used to be so funny. But I realized how much that meant when my nana told me that. I swear I appreciate those conversations on the couch because that just helped me think more about finances. Now, you don't want your money to drift. You want your money to make money. You want your money to be financially stable. You want to do better year after year. You need to save, right? So these are things that we tell ourselves every day. But if we're not implementing it and if we're not putting it into action, it's just sitting there on a piece of paper. That's all it's doing. We have to also do the legwork. Now, when I say that, again, everything that I just said sounds nice. And this is what we tell ourselves every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Now, here is how all of that sabotages the process along with what I said. There's no numbers attached to it, whether it's financial money or whether it's dates. It's no number is associated with anything I just said. I just said I want to make more money. What if I go outside and I find $10? I'd have made more money than I had. What if the job was offering overtime and now I did overtime? I'd have made more money. I never specifically said what I wanted. Now, I didn't put a deadline on it. How soon do I want to get it? What is my time frame? What am I looking at? How is this going to play into what I'm trying to do? Is it feasible? And again, this is where all your SMART goals come in. There is no measurable target in everything that I just said that I wanted. Although everything was nice and it sounds so sweet and it's durable, I didn't have the right plan of action to go behind it. Now let's take everything I said and turn that around. So now when you're thinking about your goals and you say, man, I want to make more money. Look, I want to make $10,000 by September 1st. Here's what I'm going to do that. I'm going to work. Then I'm going to see if I could do at least 20 to 25 hours of overtime within a pay period. And on my off time, if I have time, I may sell dinners. I'm so detailed and specific about what I want because I want this to happen at a certain point in time. And if I don't put the legwork with it, it's not going to work. Also, you got to have a strategy. Now, here is the process when it's actually being sabotaged, right? We understand that there's no direction. There's no direction because there's no focus. Because again, I just want to save money. There's no direction and no focus. There's no timeline. I need more money. You didn't set a time for it. There's no urgency behind what you're doing. It's not measured. Why is it not measured? Because you're not motivated. You're not motivated to do it. So you're not going to have that time frame. And then here comes your emotions. They're taking over because you haven't did this. Something came up and it triggered that feeling. So now guess what? The emotions are filling all those gaps when initially we could have sat and filled those gaps, right? And I know it's easier said than done. How do we do that? We build a blueprint. Our blueprint must consist of budgeting and cash flows. Now, here's a question for you. Did you know that cash flows isn't just to track your money? It's about directing your money with intention. Just said that cash flow is going to show you where you're going to be. You're not going to be right here at that standstill at that point in time. It works hand in hand with those projections. So here's what I mean by intention. If it's zero based, right, you have budgeting versus percentage based budgeting. Now, what does that mean? Every dollar you earn is assigned, right? It's a job until your income minuses your expenses, and that equals zero. So when you're at a zero base budget, that means, look, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to pay all my bills. My income minus my expenses, I'm broke. I have no money. That's what that means. Basically, your income is $5,000. Your rent is $1,500. Your utilities is $300. Your groceries is $600. Your savings is $800. Your investments is $500. You owe $700 in debt. Your givings is $600. That's your whole $5,000. Every dollar has a purpose, right? It went somewhere. Although you may not have any money, it went somewhere. Now, let's talk about percentage-based budgeting, which means you yourself decide your income and put it into whatever percentage blockage to track every dollar, right? So last month, I talked a lot about the 50-30-20 rule, right? And that's your necessities, your wants, and then your savings, right? Needs, wants, savings. Or you can customize it how you want to customize it. You could do 60%, 20%, 10%, 10%. It's just solely based on how you want to allocate your earnings. Now, let's talk about cash. Did you know that there's a such thing as cash flow leaks? You know, I did not know that until like 3 years ago. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, if I put a hole in it, would the money leak through it? Like, I don't know. Is this a trick? But there is a thing called cash flow leaks. Yes. And what does that mean? That means money leaving your account regularly without intentional value, alignment, and purpose. I'm going to take a pause and have some water on that. Now, who can sit and say, man, I was looking at my account the other day and I keep seeing this transaction. I'm going to call and do something about it, and ain't did nothing about it. Who has ever been a victim to doing that? If you're on the line, drop a blue heart for me. I know I'm a victim of doing that. I done saw this $1.99 charge 85 times and still ain't had time to call. But if you add that $1.85 up times the amount of times you've seen it, that's going to equal to something. And oh boy, don't have no money in your account at all, and that $1.85 hit, now you're going to get hit with an NSF fee. Don't get mad now and try to fix it. You should have fixed it beforehand. We have the power to do so. So let's talk about what causes those cash flow leaks. Subscriptions. These are recurring charges you may have forgotten about or no longer use. So let's just say you may have a subscription to Cooper's Hall, right? That's a winery. I think 85% of the people I know have a subscription. However, out of that 85%, maybe 8% uses their uses their subscription. The others don't use it. Oh, Shavon, I'm going to use it one day. Long as it's there and I can go get it. No, bro, you got $25 a month to give away like that? Give it to me. Or let's put it towards saving. Let's put it up and maybe invest it if you want to take risks like that. Now, individually, these subscriptions can start from $9.99 and go up to $24.99, which collectively means that's between $200 and $500 a month, depending on how many subscriptions you are subscribed to. To the listeners that's listening online, how many subscriptions do you have? And then add up that monthly cost and then tell me, are you using all of them? And if you are not, why have you not canceled those subscriptions? I know that's a lot. And I'm going to take a minute to jump in and just speak to all my listeners on here that's listening. Hey, Aunt Tootie! Aunt Tootie all the way from Vegas. Hey, Auntie, how you doing? That's my auntie. So, all my other listeners, I did not forget about you. Of course I didn't. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to drop a heart in the comment just to let y'all know I'm here. I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. Now, let's talk about that impulse spending. You know how you have impulse eating? You have impulsive spending. Yes, this is emotional driven, unplanned spending. Have I done that before? Absolutely. I have bought all the Ben and Jerry's ice cream and I didn't need it. And then when I found out, and this was a long time ago, Baskin Robbins, you used to buy that really big container that they had that they would go in and scoop ice cream for you. Those were at the time, and I'm going back maybe 15 to 18 years ago, at the time was $96. So every month I was going to one, getting that big container so I can have me some pralines and cream. That was impulsive, very impulsive spending. Now you have people that do a lot of online shopping, late nights. Oh, this on sale. Oh, this, I bought this. And then 2 weeks from now, it's like, man, why did I spend that money? I wasn't thinking about this. That happens. Then you have grabbing food instead of cooking. People, we are making these restaurants so rich, it is ridiculous. I am at a loss of words. How many times I hear people say, I'm going to the grocery store, but I didn't feel like cooking, so I just ordered out. Do you know the fees, if you're DoorDashing or Uber Eats, cost more than almost the same amount as the food, and you've already spent that amount at the grocery store? Not that there's nothing against Uber Eats, because I've done it, especially when I'm sitting here working and I can't get away or I have not meal prepped. Yes, I have to Uber Eats. But, I'd be so mad at myself. I'd be so mad. But I try to get better and I don't try to make it a habit. Now, another thing, people do flash sales, which means, you know what? I'm going to go treat myself right now. This is what I did. This is what I succeeded on. I'm going to go treat myself. Those are leaks. Now, lifestyle creep. What is lifestyle creep? That means as your income increases, your expenses increases at the same pace. They don't take time and gradually increase. If you get a $10,000 jump right now, your expenses is at $10,000 right now. How do I know? Because what are you thinking about doing? Getting a bigger house, a bigger condo, a bigger apartment. That big kitchen and big bathroom look nice, or you just need that backyard, or you just need that big basement. Now you want another car. You're tired of the car you're driving. You want a newer model. Fine. Now you're looking at your wardrobe. We got to get more for the wardrobe. Now, your bills are now steadily increasing. And so now those emotions are taking over. And now your consistency has lost the process. So now it's diverting back to, let me go back and finish endless spending because I don't have no purpose. I don't have no focus. I don't have no motivation. So how can we gain based on our goals if we're not planning it right. We got to do something better. We have to do something better. Now, what do I mean by that, right? How about setting things up on automatic payments? Therefore, if you're like me and you don't like your account to be withdrawn, you're going to make sure that money is there, or you're going to make sure you adamantly sit down and pay your bills, whether that's your rent, your utilities, your credit cards, your insurance. These set your financial goals just by starting there. And how does it do that? It protects your credit. Why? Because you're not going to not let that payment be in there. And if you know that you're not going to have it, you're going to try to make arrangements to stop that payment or to see what it is you can do so your credit is not impacted by that, right? You're going to prevent late fees. You're going to prevent unnecessary penalties. You're going to have money to put towards your savings, right? This also reduces mental load. Listen, people, listen. When your finances is messed up, your mental is messed up. And you may not realize it because you're feeding it with other avenues, but everything is going to stem back to those finances. And one thing can trigger that, and that's going to produce an issue. So, what do you do to stop that? You create what I call a money map. And a money map aligns with your goals, right? Now, how do you plan that? First of all, you got to understand what it is. And a money map is basically a breakdown of your income streams. What do I mean by that? Your expenses, your savings, your investments, your debt management, your insurance, any contributions that you're making towards your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA, anything that you're doing, that's going to become an income stream, right? Now, this is what you do. You budget, right? And I know you say, well, Shavonna, I do that, but it don't seem to work for me. Well, here is another phase. Try budgeting strategically, intentionally, and setting a goal with that, which means what do you have to do? You have to identify your goals. You have to assign money to each goal. What are you saving this for? What is the outcome? Remember, you have to go deeper than that why. Track and adjust everything you're doing. You have to know what's coming in and what's going out. Because if you don't, how are you going to know if you're increasing, decreasing, or even at a plateau? You're supposed to know where everything is going down to the penny. Visualize your progress. So here it is. A money map is a visual guide that aligns every dollar to your financial goals. It's more than just a budget, right? So don't look at it as a budget. Look at it as, look, I'm going to put this right here because this is going to save toward this goal. Name it what you want to name it so it doesn't feel like it's a punishment. You get excited about what you're doing. Look at your money like a GPS, right? Like you want to know where to go. So what do? If we don't know our directions? We go to the GPS. Now imagine that GPS takes you all over the place. You mad. You don't went in circles. The same thing when it comes to your finances, right? To avoid that, these are your dreams. These are your goals. You are setting these foundations. So you have to be more intentional about that progress. What do? You do a 30-day tracking plan. And with that plan, you categorize that 50-30-20 rule, or you could do 60-30-10, however you want to do it. And you automate one financial thing. Start off small. What do you want to automate? Well, guess what? Let me try automating the light bill. Let me see how that works. And I'm not saying jump all the way out there. You have to start small because it takes baby steps. But those baby steps eventually come bigger steps. And that's all you want to see. You have to activate your plan. Turn your strategy into action. Listen, oftentimes, like we freeze. because we think we have to be perfect when it comes to this money situation. When in our actuality, it's not even about the money, it's the momentum that you put into it. I could sit here and make $10,000 a day, but if I'm not shining with that momentum, if there's no purpose and no focus and no motivation behind it, what am I really doing? And that's just me. Someone else may think differently. So listen, here's the 1% better rule for financial habits. Now, what does that mean? That means making money small, making small, consistent improvements every day until they turn into a significant result over time. And the analogy that I used earlier, my nana, when it came to that ice cream cone, save a nickel. So guess what? I got used to waiting, and I would add it up. It's these many scoops. It's these many scoops. So guess what? If I save enough, I wonder if I could get a big container. And that was my goal. That was my progress at that time. And at that time, that half a gallon of ice cream was mine. I was able to buy it all because my nana told me to save this nickel. Now, when I got an increase in my allowance, yes, I still save that nickel because I knew I still wanted that ice cream. So this is what you have to do, right? Save your money. And it's okay. You can start small. It doesn't have to be, let me put $1,000 here, let me put $1,000 there, let me do this, let me do that. No, you don't have to do that. No. Start small. Save. Increase. What do I mean by increase? Make it automatic. So if you have something going into your account, let's just say you have $100 going into your savings account. Maybe have an additional $10 going into that savings account. Why? Because you're building toward a bigger build. You want to see something significant over time. Excuse me, water break. Thank you. Now, also, what you want to do is you want to get with a partner, right? Especially if some of you have the same goals, right? Whether it's friends, family, and make it an accountability partner. Look, some people need that extra push. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether it's personal or business, some people need that extra push. Encourage one another, challenge one another, celebrate those small wins because they matter. Those small wins become big wins. And again, what we may think is small, it could be very, very big to someone else. And you have to allow yourself that grace. Why? Because this is something that you're planning to go for a significant amount of time, and you want to see the progress. You don't want to rush it. You want to take your time while you're executing your plan. Because now that you see that this is working, you're already thinking about another plan. So what are you going to do? You're going to write it down because it makes sense to write it down, because now you want to see that vision. Then you're going to ask yourself, why is this important? You're going to dig deeper. Then you're going to set those goals, and then you're going to execute that. So it's okay to have that partner, that person to encourage you. That person can also help you stay honest about what's going on. Don't be impulsive when those emotional drivers kick in. We have what we call advisors, we have coaches, we have mentors. We provide expertise, guidance, motivation, and a lot of people, believe it or not, get that from their accountant. They get that from their tax preparer. Why? Because you have a person that's on the outside that's unbiased, that's looking at your documents. And again, I'll tell you over and over again, listen, you don't want to give nobody no reason to deny you of anything when it comes to a loan, when it comes to money, when it comes to financing. You don't want to give anyone any particular reason to tell you no, because guess what? You are not invited to the room. Anything that an entity need, what are they going to say? Can you please upload this document to the portal? can you please upload this or email or fax this document to us? So you are not physically sitting in the room, but your documents are sitting in the room. And guess what? Your documents are singing like a canary. And so while they're singing, you want them to have a nice melody. You want them to have a nice tune. You don't want them to look at you and be like, mm, mm, mm. No, you don't want that. So that's why it's okay to have these coaches and these mentors and these advisors. That's why it's okay to have these check-ins with your accountant, with your tax preparer. So again, I come back to those 3 questions that I started with, just to give you an overview of everything that we're trying to do. Because again, we're trying to go from goals to gains. We're turning our financial plans into action. And so that first question is, what is one financial goal you're working on right now? And guess what? If you're not working on one, start thinking about one. And then let's talk about it. Start thinking about it. Let's start putting it into action. Where do you feel most stuck? Is it budgeting? Is it saving? Is it investing? And then, what is your financial win? Be proud of it, no matter how small or big it is. You have to be proud. Celebrate. I don't care what it is. You must celebrate. Listen, family, here's one thing I'm going to tell you. If you take nothing else away from what I said today, and I know I said a lot, clarity creates momentum. You can't hit a target if it isn't defined. You can't say I'm going to be a billionaire and it has no motivation, no purpose, no time, no number, no nothing. Where's the momentum behind it? Where's that push? That's where you need that accountability partner at. Your cash flow is your foundation. It directs your dollars with intention, so you know where it's going. It's not finna say, okay, you mad today, I'm gonna take it and do this. No, we're gonna keep going because we see something bigger than what you're seeing right now. You're trying to be impulsive. Slow down. That's what your cash flow is telling you. Small actions compound consistency, which means that beats perfection. You don't have to be perfect. It's only one person that was perfect, and that's God. You don't have to be perfect with this. Take your time. That's where that momentum comes in. Investing is a long game. So guess what? You got to start early. You got to stay ready, and you got to let time work for you. Remember, time is on your side. Time is definitely on your side. So in closing, at the end of the day, here's what I want you to realize, right? Your financial plan is as powerful as your action that you take to bring it to life. Like if you want it to happen, you're going to make it happen. Nothing is going to stop you, deter you, or coming your way, right? You got to turn your goals into gains, which means you got to move with intention and even way beyond intention. You got to overcome that fear. Like I got to overcome the fear of investment. I just can't see losing my $5 and ain't nobody going to get right back to me right now. I that's my why. I got to deal with that. But okay, now it's about designing the plan that aligns with your goals. You want to see that progress, okay? You want to see that progress. So look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for sitting here watching. Please visit all of our social media pages. We're putting some nice content up there. We're going to start releasing some events that Let's Talk Finance is going to have. We're going to be releasing some information. We all want to see you come in and tune in. Like, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Please share that content. And again, I tell you what we're going to keep doing. Any new customer that comes to Anointed Accounting, if you shared this content, screenshot it, show me that picture, you are going to get 20% off of your service. If you are returning and you're sharing this content, screenshot that, you are going to get 10% off your services. This is what we want to do because we know that everybody needs this information. I'm on all social media platforms under Anointed Accounting. ANOINTEDACCOUNTING. The telephone number is 312-837-7219. We're at YouTube under Anointed Accounting. Our website is www.anointedaccounting.com. I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. Hey, Mr. Underwood, that's one of my billionaire clients. I love working with billionaires. He on his way to being a trillionaire now. But until next time, everyone, please stay encouraged, stay grateful, and keep walking in purpose. Know that I'm here. I love you, and thank you for spending time with me. I'll holler at y'all in 7 days.